Friends, I'm going to share something with you today that can literally change the way your brain and eyes function while you sleep. Yes, just by adding 3 simple dry fruits into your evening routine, you can nourish your nervous system, protect your eyes, and supercharge your memory naturally. You don't need expensive supplements. You don't need complicated routines. Nature has already provided the medicine, and it comes in the form of delicious, powerful dry fruits. When you think of raisins, you might picture a small, wrinkled, sweet fruit, something you throw into your oatmeal or grab as a snack. But very few people realize the incredible healing power packed into these tiny gems, and even fewer understand how profoundly they can transform your vision and memory while you sleep. Scientists call raisins nature's antioxidant capsules, and once you understand what they can do inside your body, you will never look at them the same way again. The eyes are constantly under attack, every second of the day, from blue light exposure, UV radiation, pollution, stress, and poor circulation. This bombardment creates oxidative stress, a silent enemy that eats away at the delicate cells of your retina, the part of your eye that allows you to see the world in vivid detail. Now here's where raisins come in, because they are loaded with polyphenols and powerful compounds like resveratrol and quercetin that don't just sit in your stomach, they circulate through your bloodstream, reach the microscopic vessels in your eyes, and begin neutralizing free radicals before they can do permanent damage. Research has shown that antioxidants in raisins can reduce the risk of macular degeneration, a disease that steals vision from millions of people every year, often without warning. Imagine protecting your sight not with expensive treatments or surgeries, but by eating a handful of nature's candy before bed. It sounds too simple, but simplicity is the beauty of nature's design. But vision isn't the only miracle raisins work on. Your brain, the organ that shapes your memories, your emotions, your decisions, is also under attack daily from inflammation and oxidative stress. Neurologists now believe that memory decline, brain fog, and even degenerative conditions like Alzheimer's are linked to chronic oxidative damage. And again, raisins step in like silent warriors. The resveratrol in raisins has been shown to cross the blood-brain barrier, one of the body's most selective shields, meaning it can directly enter the brain and protect neurons from damage. This is extraordinary because very few compounds can penetrate this barrier. Once inside, resveratrol reduces inflammation, improves blood flow to the hippocampus, the memory center of your brain, and stimulates the release of growth factors that help neurons survive longer. Scientists at Georgetown University published findings showing resveratrol's potential to preserve memory and protect against Alzheimer's disease. And they weren't studying exotic supplements or costly drugs, they were studying the same compound that is abundant in raisins. Now think about what happens when you sleep. While your body rests, your brain begins one of the most important processes of human biology, memory consolidation. Every thought, every lesson, every piece of information you took in during the day is sifted, organized, and stored, and this process requires stable circulation, antioxidant protection, and neurotransmitter balance. Eating raisins before bed provides exactly that. They deliver natural sugars that release slowly through the night, preventing the dips in glucose that starve the brain. They supply minerals like iron, which ensures oxygen reaches every brain cell, and potassium, which balances electrical activity in your neurons. In other words, they give your brain the fuel and protection it needs to strengthen your memory while you dream. But let's not ignore the hidden factor that makes raisins a nighttime superfood: their effect on circulation. One of the leading causes of vision decline is poor blood flow to the eyes. The retina is hungry for oxygen, and when circulation weakens, vision begins to blur and deteriorate. Studies reveal that raisins improve endothelial function, meaning they help the inner lining of blood vessels stay flexible and healthy. This keeps blood moving smoothly, delivering oxygen not just to your eyes, but to your entire nervous system. It's like clearing clogged pipes so water can flow freely again. Imagine the impact when you do this night after night consistently as your body repairs itself during sleep. And here's something that will surprise you: raisins contain boron, a trace mineral many people have never even heard of, but one that is critical for eye and brain health. Boron helps regulate hormones that protect the eyes and supports calcium absorption that keeps the nervous system stable. Deficiency in boron has been linked to impaired memory and poor cognitive performance. Yet by eating something as simple as soaked raisins, you can replenish this overlooked nutrient naturally. Doctors often recommend vitamin C for immunity, but few realize that raisins are also a rich source of vitamin C, along with phenolic compounds that are 20 times more powerful than vitamin C alone in fighting oxidative stress. Together, they act as a shield around your eye cells and neurons, slowing aging at its root. In fact, a study published in the Journal of Food Science revealed that the phenolic content of raisins contributes significantly to their antioxidant capacity, showing they are not just snacks but true therapeutic foods. Now let's bring this closer to reality. How many people do you know who wake up in the morning with tired eyes, headaches, or a brain that feels foggy and slow? This is not normal aging. This is nutritional neglect. The body cannot perform miracles if we starve it of what it needs. But when you feed it the right compounds, even in small doses, the changes can be remarkable. Patients who start adding raisins into their daily routine often notice sharper vision in low light, less strain when reading, improved focus, and even more vivid dreams, a sign that memory processing during sleep is more active. So why soaked raisins? When you soak them in water for 6 to 8 hours, something powerful happens. The water breaks down the skin, releases more antioxidants, and makes them easier to digest. This means your body can absorb more of the nutrients without wasting energy on digestion. Eating soaked raisins at night ensures that these compounds are circulating right when your brain and eyes are in repair mode. It's not just about what you eat, it's about when you eat it, and timing them before bed maximizes their healing potential. Think about the alternative. Millions of people spend fortunes on eye drops, supplements, and pills that promise sharper vision or better memory, but often they're loaded with chemicals or offer short-term fixes. Nature already gave us a safer, simpler, and more sustainable option. A food that has been part of human diets for thousands of years, celebrated in ancient cultures for its medicinal properties, and confirmed by modern science as a powerhouse for the eyes and brain. Every time you pick up a handful of raisins, remember you're holding more than a snack, you're holding decades of research condensed into a natural package. You're holding a tool that can slow the aging of your eyes, sharpen your memory, fuel your brain, and support your nervous system while you rest. This is not hype, this is biology. This is the way the human body responds when you give it the tools it needs. So the next time you look at that small box of raisins, don't underestimate it. See it as nature's prescription. Soak them, eat them before bed, and let your body do the rest. Night after night, silently, steadily, your vision becomes clearer, your mind becomes sharper, your energy more stable, and your future more secure. All because of a fruit so small most people ignore it, yet so powerful it can rewrite the story of your health. If you've ever held a walnut in your hand, you've probably noticed something extraordinary, because when you split it open and look closely, you see a striking resemblance to the human brain. Two hemispheres, folds, grooves, and a protective shell like the skull itself. And for centuries, ancient healers believed that walnuts were nature's clue, a signature left by the universe, a hint that this food was designed specifically to nourish the mind. And today, modern science has proven them right in ways that are almost hard to believe. Walnuts are one of the richest plant-based sources of omega-3 fatty acids, specifically alpha-linolenic acid, a compound so vital to the human brain that researchers have called it the raw material of thought. Omega-3s are the very building blocks of your neurons, the fatty insulation that allows electrical signals to travel quickly and efficiently, and when the brain is deficient, memory falters, focus weakens, and mood begins to collapse. In fact, studies published in the Journal of Nutrition, Health and Aging show that people who consume walnuts regularly score significantly higher on memory and cognitive tests, even after controlling for age, lifestyle, and education, which means this isn't just correlation, it's biology in action. But the power of walnuts doesn't stop with omega-3, as they're also loaded with vitamin E, melatonin, and polyphenols, all of which act like shields against oxidative stress. Your brain is the hungriest organ in your body, consuming 20% of your energy while weighing only about 2% of your mass. And this constant demand creates free radicals that slowly chip away at brain cells over time. This oxidative stress is what accelerates brain aging and contributes to neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. Walnuts step in like a defensive army, neutralizing these free radicals before they can cause irreversible damage. In fact, researchers at Tufts University found that animals fed walnuts performed better in memory tasks and showed less age-related decline than those without walnuts, suggesting that this humble nut has the power to slow the very clock of cognitive aging. Now think about this in the context of sleep, because sleep is not just rest, it is the laboratory of your brain. The time when neurons repair, connections strengthen, and memories consolidate into long-term. Walnuts contain natural melatonin, the hormone that regulates your sleep-wake cycle. And eating a few walnuts before bed not only helps you fall asleep faster, it enhances the quality of deep sleep, where the brain does its most important repair work. This is crucial because without sufficient deep sleep, your brain cannot clear out toxic proteins like beta amyloid, the same protein that builds up in Alzheimer's disease. Imagine that something as simple as eating walnuts before bed could help your brain flush out toxins while you dream, protecting you from the devastating effects of memory decline. And here's something most people never realize: inflammation is one of the greatest enemies of brain health. Chronic inflammation doesn't just affect your joints or your heart, it also silently inflames the brain, disrupting communication between neurons and damaging delicate tissue. Walnuts contain unique polyphenols and anti-inflammatory compounds that calm this fire at its root. A study in the Journal of Alzheimer's Disease revealed that mice fed a walnut-enriched diet not only had better memory performance, but also showed less brain inflammation and oxidative damage. This is groundbreaking because it suggests that walnuts don't just protect the brain passively, they actively heal it. But walnuts are not only about preservation, they're also about performance. Athletes and students who consume walnuts regularly often report sharper focus, faster recall, and greater mental endurance, and this is not just placebo. The omega-3s in walnuts increase the fluidity of neuronal membranes, making communication between brain cells faster and more efficient. Think of like upgrading your internet from dial up to high-speed fiber. The difference is not subtle, it is profound, and when you combine this with the slow release energy of walnuts' natural fats and proteins, you have a fuel source for the brain that is stable, long-lasting, and sustaining through the night. Now consider the hidden minerals packed inside every walnut: magnesium, zinc, copper, and manganese. Magnesium is known as the relaxation mineral, calming the nervous system and reducing anxiety, helping the mind to settle before sleep. Zinc plays a critical role in neurotransmitter function, influencing memory and learning. Copper supports energy production within brain cells, and manganese helps protect against mitochondrial damage, the very engines of your neurons. Each walnut is a tiny pharmacy of essential nutrients, perfectly designed to feed the brain at every level, from electrical signaling to energy production to repair and regeneration. And what about heart health? Why mention the heart in a video about the brain? Because the health of your heart determines the quality of blood flow to your brain, and without strong circulation, the brain cannot thrive. Walnuts have been proven to improve endothelial function, lower LDL cholesterol, and reduce arterial stiffness, all of which mean more oxygen and nutrients reaching your neurons. The healthier your heart, the sharper your mind, and walnuts nourish both together in harmony. But perhaps the most shocking fact is this brain decline does not begin in old age. It begins silently in your 30s and 40s, sometimes even earlier, as oxidative stress and inflammation slowly accumulate. By the time symptoms appear, the damage is often already advanced. This is why prevention is everything, and walnuts are one of the most powerful preventive foods known to science. Eating just a handful, 2 to 3 soaked walnuts before bed, can begin a chain reaction of healing that compounds over years. It's not about what happens tomorrow, it's about protecting the next decade, the next 20 years of memory, clarity, and independence. Now picture this: an elderly man who forgets the names of his grandchildren, a woman who can no longer drive because her reaction time has slowed, a brilliant mind dulled by years of neglect. These tragedies are not inevitable. They are preventable, and one of the tools is as small, simple, and accessible as the walnut. It doesn't require prescriptions. It doesn't require complicated routines. It requires consistency and respect for what nature has already given us. So when you see a walnut, don't dismiss it as just another nut. See it for what it really is: a symbol of the brain, a blueprint of healing, a reminder that food is medicine, and that the smallest choices can have the biggest impact. Eat them raw, eat them soaked. But eat them consistently, especially before bed when the body is primed for repair. Over time, you will notice the difference: clearer thoughts, sharper focus, better memory, deeper sleep, and a resilience of mind that feels like turning back the clock. The walnut is not just food, it is a protector, a healer, and a teacher. It teaches us that nature leaves clues, that the answers to our greatest health challenges are often right in front of us, and that the future of our brain health is not determined by fate, but by the choices we make every single day. A walnut is small, but its impact is massive, and when you choose to make it part of your life, you choose to give your brain the gift of strength, clarity, and longevity. When most people see dried apricots, they think of a simple chewy snack, something tossed into trail mix or eaten as a sweet bite after dinner. But hidden inside this golden fruit is one of the most powerful natural medicines for your eyes, your brain, and your sleep. Ancient healers once called apricots the fruit of life, and modern science is proving they were right, because the nutrients packed inside dried apricots can repair vision, protect memory, and fuel deep restorative sleep in ways that feel almost miraculous. The secret begins with beta-carotene, the pigment that gives apricots their rich orange color, a compound the body converts into vitamin A, and vitamin A is not just another nutrient, it is the foundation of sight. Without it, the rods and cones in your retina cannot capture light, cannot translate images, and cannot give you the gift of clear vision. Deficiency in vitamin A is the leading cause of preventable blindness in children worldwide, a shocking fact that shows how essential this vitamin truly is. But in adults, even mild deficiency can cause night blindness, dry eyes, and progressive vision loss. Dried apricots, ounce for ounce, contain some of the highest concentrations of beta-carotene among dried fruits, and when eaten before sleep, this compound is absorbed, converted, and delivered to the retina during the very hours your body is repairing itself. But the power of dried apricots doesn't stop at vision. They are also loaded with antioxidants like lutein and zeaxanthin, carotenoids that specifically protect the macula, the small area of your retina responsible for sharp central vision. Everyday exposure to blue light from screens and sunlight damages the macula, producing free radicals that scar and weaken it, but lutein and zeaxanthin act as natural filters, absorbing harmful light before it can injure your eyes. Researchers at Harvard have shown that higher intake of these carotenoids can cut the risk of age-related macular degeneration by as much as 40%, and dried apricots are one of the most convenient and concentrated natural sources. Eating them at night means these protectors are already in your bloodstream when your eyes detoxify during sleep, shielding you from one of the most common causes of vision loss in later life. Yet the story of apricots reaches far deeper into the brain itself. memory, focus, and emotional stability all depend on minerals like potassium and magnesium, and dried apricots are abundant in both. Potassium balances the electrical signals that neurons use to communicate, preventing the misfires that cause mental fatigue and confusion, while magnesium relaxes overactive nerve pathways, reducing anxiety and calming the mind. This is why people who eat magnesium-rich foods sleep better, dream more vividly, and wake with sharper recall. One study published in Neuropharmacology revealed that magnesium can actually enhance synaptic plasticity, the brain's ability to rewire itself, learn, and create lasting memories. So when you eat dried apricots before bed, you are not just feeding your eyes, you are feeding your neurons the very minerals they need to heal, connect, and grow stronger. Another overlooked gift of dried apricots is their natural sugar content. Unlike refined sugar that spikes insulin and damages cells, the sugars in dried apricots are bound to fiber, releasing slowly over hours, providing a steady trickle of glucose to the brain through the night. This is vital because the brain, though only 2% of your body's weight, consumes more than 20% of its energy, and if glucose drops during sleep, the brain's repair and memory consolidation suffer. By eating just 3 or 4 dried apricots before bed, you ensure your brain never runs out of fuel during its most important work, allowing memory to lock in, emotions to reset, and focus to sharpen for the next day. But here comes something truly shocking. Sleep researchers have discovered that during deep sleep, the brain performs a cleansing process through the glymphatic system, flushing out toxins that accumulate during the day, including beta-amyloid, the same protein linked to Alzheimer's disease. This cleansing requires stable circulation, hydration, and nutrient support. Dried apricots provide potassium to regulate blood pressure, magnesium to relax blood vessels, and antioxidants to protect neurons during this nightly detox. Without these nutrients, the cleansing is incomplete, leaving behind debris that slowly erodes memory and clarity, but with them the brain awakens refreshed, sharper, and more resilient. And what about the body's ability to enter that deep sleep in the first place? Dried apricots are one of the richest dried fruits in tryptophan, an amino acid that the brain converts into serotonin and then melatonin, the master hormone of sleep. Unlike synthetic melatonin supplements that can disrupt your natural rhythm if misused, the melatonin precursors in dried apricots work gently, stimulating your own body to produce what it needs in the right amount at the right time. This means easier sleep onset, fewer awakenings, and more time spent in restorative stages of sleep. Imagine closing your eyes at night and knowing that what you ate just an hour before is quietly guiding you into the deepest, most healing rest your body can experience. Now let's talk about the silent killers we rarely associate with vision or memory: oxidative stress and chronic inflammation. These forces attack not only the eyes and brain, but every organ system, accelerating aging and disease. Dried apricots are packed with flavonoids like quercetin and catechins, compounds proven to reduce inflammation markers in the blood. A study in the European Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that diets high in flavonoids were linked with significantly lower rates of cognitive decline over a decade. This means every bite of dried apricot is not just fighting hunger, it is actively lowering inflammation that could otherwise strip away your clarity and independence in later years. But perhaps the most surprising benefit of dried apricots is their impact on the blood itself. They are one of the few dried fruits high in iron, particularly non-heme iron, which, when paired with their natural vitamin C content, is absorbed more effectively. Iron is essential for hemoglobin, the protein that carries oxygen to every cell, including the light, hungry cells of the retina and the energy-starved neurons of the brain. Anemia or low iron levels is a hidden cause of chronic fatigue, blurred vision, and poor concentration, and millions suffer from it unknowingly. By adding dried apricots into your nightly routine, you replenish this vital mineral in a natural, gentle way, giving your brain and eyes the oxygen they crave. Think about the contrast. Millions of people chase expensive eye supplements, sleep medications, and memory pills, yet they ignore one of the simplest, oldest foods that nature has provided. Apricot trees have grown in Asia for over 4,000 years, revered as symbols of youth and longevity, and now science confirms that their fruit, even when dried, contains everything the human body needs to protect its two most precious assets, sight and memory. And it doesn't require dozens of pills, it requires 3 or 4 small pieces of fruit, taken with intention night after night. So the next time you hold a dried apricot, don't see it as a snack. See it as a key to clearer vision, a sharper mind, and deeper sleep. See it as a nightly ritual, a gift you give yourself, a message to your body that you care about the years ahead. Because what you do tonight echoes in your health tomorrow, and the simple act of eating dried apricots before bed can set into motion changes so profound, you'll feel them not just in your eyes and mind, but in the very quality of your life.